data factory.
In Data Factory, is this where all the pipelines are? I'm trying to get an understanding of the.
Yeah. So in data factory, you have all the pipelines, and those pipelines can be called from the D365 page. So from there, you push a command via an API call to start this pipeline, basically. So if I go to our pipeline, HR Worktribe subset load.
Yes.
So yeah, so basically what this does is, again, it reads the data from the schema tables in the SQL. Yeah. And what will we pass is, in the integration name, we pass a string, something like exactly the HR to Worktribe subset load.
Yeah.
So that string we pass it here. So from that, it gets the all the details needed for running this integration from SQL tables. So the first process is the BIP report. That is actually a different. Let me see where that is. Yeah, this one. So everything follows the same principle. Like the first part, it runs this run BIP report. Again, same integration name, you pass it, and then output path parameters. When you do this, the first step is it runs the BIP report for our HR subset load.
Yeah.
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 So when that ran, what happens is,
Do you,
let me
do you,
show you
do,
exactly.
do you mean the Shebang report?
Yes.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that is in Oracle, right?
Yes. Fusion.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that is in Oracle, but we need something to call that in Oracle, and after it runs it, we need the output of that into Azure, right?
Yeah.
So that bit is done by this pipeline, run BIP report. So this does that work of calling the Oracle uh, BIP report,
Yeah.
runs it, gets that data, and puts it in the storage account.
Where's the join for that? Where's the join that you've written that says subset report, go to Fusion,
Yeah, so
run
so
it?
so that is all driven by database. So if I show you an example here, is it one? Not two. I don't want two. I want the one. Hopefully this is the one. Yeah, so this is the dev database. So what happens here is query editor, connect. So we have a set of metadata tables where we define that information what you are asking for. Like for example, config data, and then here I would say where integration name, like let me put HR to work tribe and percentage, for example. Yeah. So if I run this, so I got 3 records here, which is exactly what you see in the what do you call the D365 page. So this is when I was saying like this is the data that is synced to Dataverse. This is the table which defines those integrations. Okay, let me quickly go back to the classic experience because I can drag the columns easily that way. Oh man, I lost the query. Is it okay? That's fine. Let me type that again. Here, can copy this integration name like HR2, HR2 work tribe percentage. Okay, see this? So I have 3 integration names listed out here. So one for the normal run, one for full load, one for subset load. So this pipeline, right? This checks the database because we got the integration name as a parameter here.
Yeah.
So when we are running subset load, we pass exactly this string HR work tribe subset load to that pipeline.
Yes.
So when the pipeline starts, it goes and checks this table and sees, okay, what do I do for this subset load? So it gets all that information from here. I need to run the PLE to E. Do I need to send a mail after completion? Yes, and things like that. So this is one part.
And
Yeah. So see, this inbound pipeline is run with report.
So you've got the return of Shebang's report here. Is that what I'm thinking?
Yeah. So that report is in Oracle, but from this all mechanism, we know how to get the report for our particular requirement, our integration.
Yeah.
And when we get that, we execute that in this run BIP report.
Yeah.
It runs it and gives us back the data.
That's the bit next. So his report's sitting there, and you're pulling it back. You're bringing it back into Azure from
No,
Fusion.
it's not. No, we are not pulling the report. We just say, okay, run this report in Oracle.
Yeah.
It runs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And when it completes, we get that output of that report into our Azure function. That's it. We don't pull the report as is. The report will still be there in Oracle. It runs in Oracle. When the output is ready after running, we only get that output back into Azure.
Okay. Because you're ready to push it. Okay. Where is
Yeah.
it? Where is it right now? You're saying in Azure.
So this is the pipeline that does it. So you see this function, Azure function, HCM run BIP report.
Yeah.
So this is what does that bit of extracting the data from Oracle after the report is run.
So those 4 lines are now sitting in Azure. Is that in a table somewhere, or
Which lines? Oh, yeah. Though once I get the report output,
yeah,
what I then do is I go,
you got a file.
I've seen this, right? Yeah. So that file will be stored in storage account. Let me show you that. Yeah. So this is the storage account, basically meant for storing data, right? So there is a specific path where we have to go look for that, which is Fusion, all Fusion things here, Fusion, and then this is HR. So come to HR, and then based on which integration, like subset load, you come here.
Yeah.
So basically that will come and fall here, that file, CSV file.
And if it's successful, it's in archive. If it's not, it's in failed.
Exactly. So if
Okay.
it is successful, then it moves to archive, which
Yeah.
is the CSV file. If you see here,
Yeah.
like you probably would
So
see
that is
yesterday's.
that's the output of Shebang's report. Is come as a
See
CSV
this,
file
yeah,
back into Azure, and these are the
yeah. See
lines.
this 4 records,
Yeah.
yesterday's one. So that's what
Yeah.
comes here.
Yeah. Those.
And once it sits here,
Yes.
this is half the process, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We only got the data from
Yeah.
Fusion.
Yeah.
The second half is done by this PLHR to Worktribe subset load.
Right. Another next
So
pipeline.
this pipeline,
Yeah.
this picks this file from the parent folder here. So before the process, it was here.
Yeah.
So it takes the file, process it, sit in this pipeline. Something like it calls the ingest person function,
Yeah.
which pushes the data into the Worktribe.
Okay.
Okay. So after that, again, that moves to a different file. Like, let me show you transient HR to Worktribe subset load. If I go to subset load, outgoing, here you have that. So first process is read the CSV, yeah,
Yeah.
from the Oracle,
Yeah.
convert that into JSON,
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
and apply all the transformation principles. Like, for example, if uh, the column name is CID in Fusion,
Yeah.
but
Person.
it is not the same in Worktribe. It should be written as ID, not CID, right? Things like that.
Okay.
So you do all that logic, you build the JSON and put that in this particular subset load outgoing folder. And again, the same, this pipeline, the second pipeline, it looks for this folder, picks the file, pushes into Worktribe. If it is successful, it goes into archive, something like this. I'll show you an example for that same 4 people. So that translates that
Yeah.
CSV into this.
Which is like the Worktribe API
Yeah,
So,
exactly what is required for Worktribe API.
yeah.
So this push to Worktribe and then ingested into Worktribe. So that is the whole process, like end to end.
But is that then based on your code that's transforming the
Yes,
file?
yes. This
So
is all my code, which I do like transform that CSV into this structure. And also we later we did a lot of things, right? Like the bug fixes and all, like you have that spine, which doesn't start with number or something, then we put something, all that kind of logics and everything. I do all this in the middleware.
yeah. Where is that? Just have sight of it, so then we see the full process. Your code,
Which one? My code.
yeah. Before this, yeah,
So that is in. So if you see this pipeline, right?
yeah,
This is calling a function. This is calling a function.
yeah,
So basically, these are Azure functions.
yeah.
So another component, like if I go to, let me just,
And what sometimes they
there's
call
this source code.
function apps, and you write the function app.
Yes, yes. So those are two separate function apps which I have written, and the pipeline calls that function app. So if you see this function app, so here we have a set of functions. For example, if I filter, see this?
Yeah.
This is a function for normal process. This is the function for subset load.
Yes.
So in this, I have that logic in Python, which does all that, you know, converting that CSV into the JSON and yeah, all other logic that we are putting in the middleware, that is here. So this pipeline basically first calls that subset load
So
and then calls the ingest person.
in your code, can we have a look at one or two examples of something that you did to try and get it into a JSON format? And also in that
Yeah,
code,
yeah.
yeah,
So if you see this CSV to JSON, process CSV to JSON. This is a method.
yeah,
So I just pass the CSV text that is coming in from Fusion from that file,
yeah,
and I send this to this method, which gives me a JSON format. So that is this. So I go through each row, I get the data, and then again another method I use for, for example, in CSV,
yeah,
I've got multiple records for the same person with multiple appointments, right?
yeah.
So here what I do is I combine all that appointments into one array and put it in the same person. For one person, you will have an array of appointments. So that's what I do here. So all these things like this I do. And after all this, I just put that file in here in the outgoing folder, HR subset load outgoing folder.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when it is done, the next one, the next HR to Worktribe, for example, so this function, I'll go back, and this function now, this picks that file, and then what this does is, if you see here, once I converted the JSON and stored it in the storage account, if you see this here, I read that from the JSON. See this, read JSON from log.
Yeah.
So I read that JSON file from the storage account. I defined a chunk size of 500 because if you remember in the
2 minutes.
first initial days, we had
Yeah.
a problem with full file, right?
Yeah.
So I push only 500 records at a time.
Yeah.
And then I read that 500 each time. And then I call the API, the Worktribe API. See this? I
Increment
post them
reloading.
to Worktribe.
Okay.
Yeah, this is exactly the process that ingests that JSON into Worktribe.
Yeah.
So if it is successful, again the same process. It goes to uh, archive. If it is failed, it goes to failed.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a whole kind of process.
On that pipeline diagram,
Yeah,
you are down at the very end then. So calling subset load, calling persons, and then it's either successful or failed,
yeah.
and then
So
delete.
based on success and failed, I just move that folder file to the different folders and all that.
If it's failed, is there any error hospital considerations for it?
So that's another thing on top of this pipeline. So this is my specific integration pipeline.
Okay.
Similarly, I have something called master handler. This is the main pipeline,
Yeah, yeah,
which again calls this. So after all this, if you see here in this, see log error in error hospital,
yeah.
if there is a failure.
Okay,
So yeah, so this in turn calls the run BIP report and also the HR to Worktribe, both. But this is a common code in the architecture built by the team. So what we are doing is our integration specific flows like this, HR to Worktribe and all that. So yeah, so this main pipeline, this is the reason why sometimes, if somebody in their team like put something in here, new one, or failed this or broken this, we have a problem.
yeah, you're dependent.
Right. So yeah, so we are kind of dependent on their thing because they have written it in a generic way so that they can reuse this for all that 50, 70, 90 or whatever number of integrations that are coming in, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, that's a point. That's a whole logic behind this.
nice. And then is it any more on the right-hand side? It's like there's error hospital, and then there's an if condition.
Mails.
Okay, who to
This is where we are getting those mails from.
right?
So if it is true, if it is false, and all that.
And then
And yeah, I think that's it. Like it will go to error hospital, log there, and also it will send mails, and probably that's it.
okay, nice. That is a great end-to-end walkthrough. Um, looking at pipeline, function app, seeing it within Azure, seeing 365 dynamics from a front end point of view, seeing the BIP report and seeing what data that would return, and also how that's picked up and linked here where it's stored, where we see success, where we see failure, how files are moving from either archive or file or failed based on their success, and sort of the whole end to end. That was a great run through, Mary. Thank you for that. Okay.